Hello, Nashlets, and welcome to today's edition of Noshing with Nashies. Have you ever looked at a tub of spinach artichoke dip and thought to myself, would? Because I have. So today we are going to make up spinach and artichoke dip style chicken. So let's head into my kitchen and have some fun with this one. All right, Nashlets, let's go ahead and see what we're going to need for this spinach artichoke dip chicken. In case you've ever wanted to give into those intrusive thoughts and eat the container. Now, I will be linking the original recipe I got this from and then my modifications because I found that just to be too complicated. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing. And what we will need for this is about 2 pounds, 1.5 to 2 pounds of chicken thighs cubed up. You can use chicken breasts, you can use chicken tenders, whatever you've got, that's fine. Gonna need some flour. We're gonna need either some frozen or some fresh spinach, and either some frozen or some fresh artichoke hearts. We're gonna need some oil, some milk, some French bread, white bread, rolls, whatever it is that you have. We're going to need some kind of cheese, whether it's Pecorino Romano, some Parmesan. If all you've got is shaky cheese, that's fine. I've got some Asiago. We're going to need some mozzarella cheese. Remember that cream cheese from last week? Well, we're going to use up the rest of that, 4 ounces of cream cheese. Some butter, some black pepper, some garlic powder, and then some onion. So basically, you can season this with anything you want. I'm going to show you a basic and have fun with it. Let's head over to the stove and cook up our chicken. All right, over medium heat on my stove, which is 5, I have heated up 1 tablespoon of avocado oil and 1 tablespoon of butter. Make sure you have more butter because we're going to need it in 2 other things as this recipe goes along. And also, go ahead and preheat your oven to 375 degrees because we will be finishing this in the oven. I'm going to come in with my chicken thighs, breasts, whatever it is that you have. And I'm going to come in with 1 chopped onion. Don't worry about how perfectly this is chopped because it is really going to cook into this mixture. This is what I call, gee, your house smells terrific, because anytime you're cooking onions with anything, it smells great. All right, we're going to come in with a ½ teaspoon of garlic powder. And we'll need this again. I'm going to come in with about a ½ teaspoon of black pepper. Or more, depending on what you like. And I did forget, in the intro, we'll need about a ¼ teaspoon of salt, or more to taste. That's perfectly fine. About 10 of those. Now, this recipe calls for you to have, the original recipe calls for you to have a skillet that you're able to transfer from the stove into the oven. Not everybody does, so I just have a nice casserole dish that I'm going to be finishing this up in that 375 degree oven. So don't worry about it if you don't have a skillet that goes into the oven. I don't like to put mine in there either, so we're just going to go with the, like I said, the baking dish. So all we're going to do is cook this until it's just about done, and then we will come in with our spinach and our artichokes. I'm going to go rinse those off and chop up my artichokes a little bit. And if you are using frozen, go ahead and make sure to thaw and rinse them and dry them off a little bit. All right, I won't make you watch this, so I will see you in just a bit. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. Our chicken and our onions has cooked up beautifully. We're going to come in now with about 12 to 15 ounces of artichokes. Again, you can use the jarred in the oil, or you can use frozen that's been defrosted. That's perfectly fine. And I didn't bother chopping them up because they're going to come apart as we're stirring and things like that. You can kind of just push them down. You can chop them if you like, but they do come apart as they soften up in our skillet. This cuts time. It just makes it easy peasy because the faster something is, the more likely I'm to do it in the kitchen, to be honest. So now we're going to come in with our bag of spinach. Again, it's going to be either frozen or fresh spinach, up to you. This is a whole bag. And obviously it looks like a big pile, but we know that it looks like one leaf at the end once everything is cooked together. So I'll let you watch all of this spinach wilt down in fast motion. Alright, Nashlets, let's go ahead and add in 1 more tablespoon of butter and let that melt in. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my stove back to 4, which is just 1 degree, because we're going to be making the sauce next, and we do not want our dairy to burn, obviously. Make sure you've got that oven preheated to 375 degrees. All right, 2 tablespoons of flour. We're going to make our roux. We're going to cook this for about 2 minutes until that flour is nice and coated. I'll let you watch that in fast motion. And then we're going to come in with our cheeses and make our sauce. Has elapsed. All right, we are ready to come in and we are going to make our cheese sauce. So again, cut back your heat a little bit. We don't want anything to burn here. We're going to come in with 2 cups of milk, whole 2%. And we want to stir. And I did put in a little bit more garlic powder just because I wanted a little bit more garlic powder. You can go with whatever you want. All right, then we are going to come in with 4 ounces of our cream cheese. Oh yeah, this smells amazing. And again, this is a great place if you want to give it a Mexican twist, do some taco seasoning. If you want to give it an Italian twist, go with some basil, some oregano, some parsley, some thyme. All right, we have 2 cups of shredded mozzarella cheese, and we have a half a cup of shredded Asiago cheese to make up our cream sauce. And again, you can use more cheese. If you like shaky cheese, use shaky cheese. Do not let anyone gatekeep your food. As soon as this melts into, we want to go nice and slow. Give everything a taste and see if there's anything you want to add. Salt, pepper, like I said. That is all up to you. And the thing about the way that I'm doing this that's slightly different, again, 2 different pans, my ingredients are slightly different, and the way that I cook it, this is a lot easier to go ahead and cube up your chicken and make everything kind of all in the pan at once without having to remove anything, and it comes out just fine. It just makes it slightly more accessible. And I think I'm going to add just a tiny bit of basil here, just because I feel like it. Oh, it smells amazing. Beautiful creamy sauce. But we do want to finish this in the oven because, like I said, I do it this way. Our chicken gets cooked through. We don't have to finish cooking it in the oven. We don't have to crank our oven to 475 like the original one. And we're going to get more of that bread crust topping, like dippy topping, in the way that I'm doing it as opposed to the way that they do it. It's, again, just a little bit more accessible, like I said. And once we have all of our cheeses melted and all of that, I'm going to go ahead and cut my stove back. I'm going to grease up my baking pan as a casserole dish, and I'm going to show you how I make the topping of bread for this. All right, I'll see you guys in just a minute. All right, Costco shopper, as you can tell, what I have here is about half a loaf of French bread cut up into cubes. I've put it in a plastic bag for ease, but you can put it in a bowl, whatever you like. I have about 3 tablespoons of melted butter here. Make sure it cools down a little bit. Mixed with a half a teaspoon of garlic powder and 1 teaspoon of basil. We're just going to pour this into the bag and then shake it like a Polaroid picture. A little ASMR for you. And it perfectly seasons them up. All right, I'm going to bring my casserole dish over here, and we're going to top it with bread, then we're going to throw it in the oven, 375 for 15 to 20 minutes until it's nice and bubbly. All right, here is our casserole dish with our beautiful spinach artichoke chicken dip casserole in it. And we are just going to take these bread cubes, and we are going to place them on the top, willy-nilly, because it wouldn't be artichoke spinach dip if we didn't have some bread to dip. And again, you can use whatever kind of bread that you like. A keto bread works just fine. Whatever you have, regular white bread, Wonder Bread. Don't let people gatekeep your food. We're just going to kind of make sure everybody's covered. And again, if you don't have enough, just cut more bread. It's fine. I have enough, so it's all good. All right, you can see here, there is our beautiful dish. I'm kind of going to press the bread in just a little bit, like so, to make sure it absorbs a little bit of that flavor. All right, 375 degrees, 15 to 20 minutes in the oven. I'll let you know exactly how long it took me when this comes out, and we will nosh with Nashies. See you in a minute. And here we have our beautiful spinach artichoke chicken dip bake straight out of the oven with those beautiful crispy croutons on the top to dip into this. I'm going to let it sit for about 5 minutes before serving it up. And if you don't want to do the topping, you can totally do it right out of the skillet, serve it on some rice, serve it on some pasta, and it will be perfection. Thank you so much for joining me for today's edition of Noshing with Nashies. And remember, if you come to a fork in the road, pick it up and have a nosh with Nashies. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!